till 8:20, but
Okay.
be ready to go.
I'm ready, Freddie. You're on the live.
But just to let you know.
Thank you. Hi, I'm live right now. Hi, I'm live right now. How are you? Good morning, by which I mean, hey. Alex, there's my friend. Come on in, everybody. The Rise Up Somewhere show, because it's morning somewhere, and hey, we got a great show for you today. We are giving you helpful news, commentary, answers to your crypto questions, and today, costumes. Yes, costumes. It is in fact Halloween. And don't be scared of crypto, or of me, or of Alex, but do be scared of missing the opportunity to learn a better story about this space, beyond the scams, beyond the schemes. I'm talking real stuff. And we've got a really good show today, don't we, Alex?
Do be scared of the U.S. federal government shutting down your favorite NFT project.
Do be scared of that. If you are holding a derivative NFT project, you should be scared. There is a big lawsuit that just got a ruling. We're going to talk about it a little later today. If you hold a derivative ape, mutant, X, Elrond Club, or whatever, the Scarecrow Ape Club, just know that your JPEGs might be in trouble.
Take your pick.
Yeah, take your pick. Your JPEGs might be in trouble. We also have a great conversation coming up later today with our friend Toli, who is the founder of Bad Bears Labs. He's got a great show on Twitter where he grills founders in the Web3 space to try and help them tell a better story, and has also built the Bear Bot, which is coming to a Discord server near you to make your NFT community more interactive and fun in a totally compliant, awesome way. So I'm excited about that. Alex, my brother, how are you, man?
Good.
I thought it might be fun to get the audience started as people are coming in with a little poll. And I thought since we're talking about derivative NFTs, it might just be good to ask everybody in the audience if they hold an NFT. Obviously, there are a lot of people in our audience who do. But if you're new to the show, if you're tuning in for the first time, then you may be new to cryptocurrency, new to NFTs altogether. We always like to get a sense of who we're talking to in the audience. And once I put this poll up, I'd love for you to answer it. And then also just leave us a message. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And if it's morning, where you are today. Do you hold NFTs? And I'm just going to say, how about yes, no?
And
I mean, let's make it easy. You think there should be another option?
I was just kidding. I said yes, no, and what?
I just put other. Here we go. Let's see. Do you hold any NFTs? If you hold NFTs, let us know what you hold in the comments, especially if you hold a derivative, because we're going to be talking about that today. Alex, what is a derivative NFT for people who don't know? And maybe even what is an NFT might be a good place to start.
I think we could circle back to that, but I think real quickly, the derivative thing, just because it's topical and it's what we're going to go over today. I think there's two degrees of derivative ability, derivativeness. I don't know, there's probably a word there that is not the one that I'm making up right now, but you know what I mean.
I definitely know what you mean. I like durability.
There's the ones like Rider Rips, Bored Apes, which were just the JPEGs from the Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? Like there was no variability, there was nothing new. They were just the straight JPEGs, copy pasted and reminted into a new collection. Then there are a step down, which is like just another ape cartoon, or there's another one launching on Multiverse X right now, which is a straight Doodles ripoff with different colors. What? So it's not a direct copy paste, but it's very obviously a Doodles derivative. So we're going to talk about both of those because as we've been probably only a matter of time until the federal government rugs your favorite NFT project. And as Ryder Rips and his community just discovered, the day of reckoning is upon us, as they were ordered to pay $1.57 million to Yuga Labs
Whoa.
in response to their satirical NFT collection. And I think most of these piles of crap are going to go the way of the dodo, and people are probably going to be out a lot of money. And if you held one and it's down bad and you're waiting for it to come back, got bad news for you.
News for you. Probably not coming back.
Nope. I would be, and granted, everything is down. Every one of them is down. I forget. There was a really great chart I saw circulating on the app formerly known as Twitter, which was showing, I think, floors of the big blue chips. It was, like the drop in art blocks, the drop in Bored Apes, the drop in all those other ones. And it's significant, like they're all down big. The ones that have the potential to continue to be something in the future are the ones that are at least, being original. Like, what's Pudgy doing, right? Like, that's something original that has more of a chance of coming back than, everyone and their grandmother's 19th ape project.
Now, let me ask you this, Alex. Do you see the poll that I posted?
I can see that it's posted, but I can't see it.
Yeah. Well, what's going on with that? Let me see. I don't know. If you can see the poll in the comments, let me know. If you voted in the poll, let me know. I sure don't see it.
Oh, there's a little tiny, at least for me, there's a little tiny up in the corner, little thing with a countdown timer, 137, 36, 35.
Huh. Well, I sure can't see it. What happens when you tap it?
It opens up for me and shows me that there are 3 votes and there's 1 minute and 20 seconds left.
Okay, 1 minute and 20 seconds left. If you hold an NFT, vote in the poll. I want to see who is in our audience today. I see that Tori is there. Asks if I'm practicing my skips and my jumps, and I assume you mean my scarecrow dance moves. In which case, we're always dancing over here. Yes, indeed. And while we talk about it, I've got this. I don't have my microphone hooked up per se, but I had to play this. Oh, you can't hear it?
It's trying. Oh, there it is.
I just wanted to play it, not only because it's topical for my costume, but because if only you had a brain, you would invest your time, your money, your attention into projects that aren't going to put you in legal hot water. Since Alex has taken the care to kind of define this idea of a derivative NFT, I wanted to just unpack for you some of the consequences. In a lawsuit like this one, where Ryder Rips has been fined for his derivative ape collection, not only is the project going to have to pay back this money, but they're also going to be forced to delist the NFTs, okay? Which means that even if the legal implications made this into like a super hot collector's item, you know how that happens sometime, right? Like books get banned and then everybody wants to buy them. In this case, you're not going to be able to, because the assets are going to be delisted. Marketplaces are going to be forced to take them off their websites, or they're going to be recalled by the contract. And then what's going to happen is people who have paid for these assets are not going to be able to do anything with them. If they were previously liquid, they're going to become illiquid. They're going to be hard to move, transfer, or unload on anybody. They'll really be made worthless, not just in the eyes of a market who lowers their price, but because you're not supposed to move them around, they're going to stop you from doing that. And in the case of this lawsuit, I do not know yet that they've made any specific sanctions in terms of paying back the holders. But that is something the SEC has talked about before, where in addition to a fine, they might be asked to pay their holders back. And in the case of something like a Ryder Rips Bored Ape, some people paid half an Ethereum for their NFTs, $1,000 or more. But they're going to pay those people back not at the rate at which they purchased their asset. They're going to pay them back at a price to be determined, or the price at the time of mint. So I think the price at the time of mint for the Ryder Rips Bored Apes was 0.1 ETH. Do you know?
I honestly
actually
don't
picked one
know,
up.
but
I own one.
well, then you'll have
And
to let us know if something ever, I guess comes of that, because that would be interesting.
yeah, that's what I'm really interested to see. And the reason I bring that up is it's upsetting and frustrating because if you paid, I don't know, in the case of another derivative for like a Elrond ape, and you paid, I don't know, 10 e-gold for it, and you got 100 of them, and they're ordered to delist, they're ordered to pay you back. Maybe you've built a barbershop brand like some people have, or um, a cannabis brand around your ape, your IP. But now that IP has been found in infringement, and you may have built up a 6 or 7 figure business around it. Now your business is in trouble. You got to switch your branding, but also you don't get anything back for that. They're going to pay you the e-gold or whatever that you bought the asset for. It's a rough situation, and it could be avoided by just choosing not to invest in IP like that. I bought the Rider Rips board because I thought it was I knew it was going to be something interesting. Like we were either going to get a lawsuit or the lawsuit was going to be ruled in his favor, and it was going to. I didn't do it as a speculative thing so much as I did it because I thought it was interesting. The statement it made, one way or the other, was going to have implications for our space, and I just wanted to own a part of that story. You know.
I mean, I totally get wanting to put like a record of your involvement in something on the chain. That's kind of one of the benefits of it. And all you're risking is what you paid for it, which I know that you know already, that anytime you would buy any one of these hyper speculative things, that you would be risking whatever you purchased it for. Interestingly, though, there's a couple other legal precedents that are kind of on the brink of being set / have been slightly set with regards to this stuff. So there was another big one that seems more relevant now given this ruling, which is that if you purchased, now this one is a little bit dependent because at this point, NFTs are not widely regarded to be like products or assets or commodities, right? We still don't know how to define it, so this can't be enforced. Really, I forget. I'd have to look up and see. Maybe you'll remember, Evan, once I say this, where this was. But if you are the consumer of one, let's say you mint something, and they say they're going to do this, they're going to deliver this. It's on their roadmap, and they don't. An argument could be made that it's, maybe it's not a rug. Maybe they didn't take the money and run away. Maybe they're still there, but they never did what they said they were going to do. There's another classic like reason that you as the consumer could feel dissatisfied with your purchase because it wasn't what you expected it to be. They said they were going to do X, Y, and Z. They didn't do X, Y, and Z. You paid for this service, this thing. You're not a fan anymore. You have the right within a certain amount of time as a consumer to request your money back. And if the person who sold you the thing does not have, and tell me how many NFT projects you've ever seen that did this, because I can count them on one hand. If there's not like a contract in place that you as the consumer agreed to that says, I relinquish my rights to seek refund and do all this like sales final kind of thing, you as the consumer have the right to do that. You would have to bring a civil suit against the proprietor of the collection as a consumer, but you could go the class action route and get a bunch of people to sign on to it and all that sort of stuff. But you would be legally allowed to do that. And we've seen in one case that that was actually like you actually had a legitimate claim. And I don't know what happened in the case because it was just like really fresh. And then I stopped seeing it get reported on. Most probably wouldn't be able to go that route just because, one, it's been a long time. And I think you only have a year to do that.
Well,
Or
according to
something
what
like
I'm
that.
seeing here, it's at least in the U.S., it's a state by state thing. I actually think in Europe they have a little more consumers have more rights and privileges. I think there, but in the U.S., a lot of states I'm seeing 30 days, 60 days, which is a nice period.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like it's standardized across the board.
Right. Yeah, and it unfortunately it does not cover just like the floors down. I'm mad.
Yeah. No.
It would have to be a specific case of like I was advertising false advertising, bait and switch, like classic, shitty tactics that are not allowed.
Yeah, exactly.
All that sort of stuff.
Tony asked us a good question about something that's related, and I
say.
want to get your take on it. For anybody who didn't see, he wants to know what are our thoughts on NFTs, meaning profile picture, community collections that are collaborations with others to help promote one, where one NFT project they send support to all the projects. Hey, community members, go buy this NFT. And then the next community post, hey, community members, go buy this NFT. It's what I would say people in the biz call a collab, for which you might need to have a collab manager who reaches out to all these other communities to build those kind of relationships. Alex, what's your take? Did I lose you? Test check 1 2.
Sure did. Dude, I hate my wireless. My Wi-Fi is just complete garbage. Let me try a different network. I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm going
It's
to
like
give you
the
my
third
take
time
on
it's
this while
happened.
Alex is resetting, and I'm going to give you a little scarecrow nose too. So what I think is that generally speaking, it is a great idea for communities of consumers to build relationships with each other. I think it is an unfortunate circumstance of capitalism that people build identities around products they don't really need. That's my personal take. I don't think it's necessarily helpful to the trajectory of humans' values, prolonging our lives. I think it's mostly a distraction from building sincere, real relationships. But in the context of creating meaning and identity online, I think it's really helpful for people who care about stuff to be able to talk to each other so that they can share good news, they can share bad news, so on and so forth. Um, in this context, I think collaborations are a great way for early adopters of a new technology to get in touch with each other, to share information, to provide helpful tips and feedback. I also think it is a good measure for them to keep communities accountable, right? If all the consumers are talking to each other and one business is doing a malicious thing, the word gets around, right? However, I would say in the context of most NFT projects that I personally see, I think that collaborations are used as a way to introduce utility or value that kind of keeps people stringing along. Um, Everybody might just have a JPEG to sell you, and they're building network and partnerships, that kind of stuff, just to sell you more JPEGs. Um, I'll give you an example from our experience. We opened a marketplace for our NFT collection, the Faceless Many, which earns people revPoints. One of our principal primary purposes was to offer utility for revPoints by helping people redeem them for everything from merch to gift cards to other digital collectibles. And eventually we hope to expand that to all kinds of stuff offline. Alex used to say, I'd love it if people could buy groceries in revPoints. And we did a lot of partnerships with communities, giving early access, giving free NFTs, giving access to games, all kinds of different stuff, exclusive art or collectibles. And we found out the hard way that sometimes people, they just, when you're doing that kind of thing, they want to partner with you because they want you and your audience to provide liquidity for their purchases. We got how many DMs? We still get DMs all the time from projects we've never heard of. And even sometimes after vetting projects, getting to know their communities, spending time with them, they would come. There was one instance, what was it, some sort of sorcerer or wizard? I've already forgotten. That, they seemed well intentioned. They did the best they could. They asked if they could partner with us and offer some of their assets to our people. And we were like, okay, sure, looks cool, sounds good. And shortly after they did that, they said, we're going to rug pull the project. Now, in our case, consumers were slightly protected because they spent rev points, which are valuable, but they didn't have to spend any money to get that asset, to get that thing.
And because we had released the ref point in a legal way, it wasn't tokenized.
That's right.
So it was very easy for us to make anyone who had spent them whole by just, refunding people who had decided to try, for that project. So
That's right. That's exactly right.
Um,
So most collabs, I was just saying, Alex, before you came back, I think most collabs are a way for projects to pump their and other people's
yeah.
bags. They don't offer any value, and they require people to spend money or time or attention in a risky way that can't be compensated.
Well, we had actually, so we did two like major ones, right? We had the Allies
Yeah.
collection, which was we built three separate spaces using spatial, so three separate like virtual reality, environments that you could go into and explore. And there was like a puzzle solving quest in each one. One of them you had to like find this three-dimensional puzzle floating in midair and then manipulate it in front of you to like rotate it so that it lined up properly and showed a picture. And then there was a couple other ones. There was one with like a portal hunt, and then there was another one that required you to put a jigsaw puzzle, a three-dimensional jigsaw puzzle together. And the end result was that we created this collection called the Allies that everyone then got for free for participating in the games and the quests and all that sort of stuff. And then, it ended up being not very fulfilling because all three of our ally projects decided they didn't actually want to do anything with any of it. And so they just kind of bounced. And then we actually tried again, and I had that same conversation with the new partner for the corrupted ally, where I was like, hey, listen, last time we did a collab, this is how it went. I'm not down for that. Like, it's bullshit, and I'm not trying to do all the work again so that you guys can just like walk away with this
With some
thing and
extra
then get a
customers.
red split. Yeah. And then they did that again. And they were like, oh yeah, no, dude, that's ridiculous. And then they did it. So that was cool.
Yeah, I would
So yeah,
say. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Alex.
I would agree that I think I've seen well-intentioned collabs, I've seen like stuff that could be cool. But more often than not, what people mean by collab is actually just, hey, retweet me, or offer a discount on my stuff to your people so that I can sell more of these things. It's not about like creating something that everyone can use. And I always thought that was really lame. And I gave up trying to do it on Multiverse X because I tried for then another year to get like all of these big projects that launched around when we launched, or shortly after, to realize that like we could create this like cross ecosystem thing, where all of us have the same token standard. We all had ESDTs and everyone could use those in each other's stuff. We could offer cross utility, like give me your utility, I'll give you mine, and make this big kind of network and incentivize cross pollination and let people do more stuff with the tokens they have. And then it was just, I never got a single lick of interest in it. So after a year of trying to have that conversation, I just gave up and I got other shit to do. So
Alex, what do you think the future is going to look like in terms of NFTs enabling brands to collaborate with each other, consumers to receive benefits? Like, we're talking about JPEG communities right now, but I think we both believe that that future is going to be helped along by NFTs for businesses and consumers. But I don't think people are always clear on what that might look like. Can we take it out of like the JPEG world and will you take it into, I don't know, Tide?
yeah,
Starbucks or our game or stuff like that? How's this going to help?
yeah. So we've talked about this before, and it was actually kind of the impetus for the platform Shoup that we're designing and building, where the idea here being that any brand or any company could use a token just to signify their community, their customer base, their holders, their users, whatever. If it's Carhartt, the people who wear Carhartt clothing or use their equipment.
Yeah.
I don't Ford, people who drive Fords, people who drink Starbucks, whatever. This is not distracting at all. I can definitely focus exactly on what it is that I'm talking about. Not Evan. Not remotely distracting at all. But if these things are on chain and trackable, you could get all kinds of really, really, really valuable data, consumer data. And spoiler alert, consumer data industry is massive, like squillions of dollars massive. Um, so that seems like a good idea to me, where all of a sudden Carhartt could say, hey, we started giving out NFC tag, relayed tokens in our jackets, and we've now realized that there is I'm going to make up numbers here. There's a 60% correlation between wearers of Carhartt and drivers of Toyotas, for example, because Toyota's also doing it, or a 70% crossover between Carhartt wearers and Starbucks drinkers, because Starbucks is also doing it and they have their Odyssey program. We should probably look at doing a brand collaboration with that company, because it turns out that our customer base is largely the same. And so all of a sudden, without sacrificing an iota of individual personally identifiable information on behalf of the consumer, you can then offer that to token holders, and they never need to sign up for anything. They don't need to relinquish their name, email address, phone number, weight, height, mother's maiden name, first pet's name, first grade teacher's, whatever. You don't need to give any of that. All you need to do is hold the token and be able to prove that you can access that wallet.
Yep.
And then you would be able to participate. And so we wanted to, give people a place to see that kind of information, because I firmly believe that that particular piece of consumer data would be super, super valuable. And it would be a way that consumers can participate in this really targeted, specific advertising while being able to remain anonymous and being able to turn it off if you wanted to.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about this too, how this is kind of like this is like a 5 or 10 year vision. I don't know exactly when crypto is going to be at this sufficiently advanced point, but we're pretty confident that it's going to be, it seems the direction in which the future is going. Hey, look, It's our friend Toli.
And that's the thing, though, that's not quite as interesting, right? You don't have to attach a JPEG to any of that. It could just be a faceless little token that, lives in an NFC tag that's in the item you bought.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't need to point to an image. It just needs to be a serial number. Which,
Totally, I'm going to try and bring you up in just a second. I think I just added you back as a friend. Make sure you're following me. In order to do it, I've got to just have the little thing up. I can invite you, or there should be a little button at the bottom that says plus request or plus guest.
It's got two little people on it.
Yeah, two little buddies, a pink one and a blue one.
Yeah, it's right next to the chat box or the chat tab.
Yeah, and Toli's a great person to talk to about this also. The future, though, that we're envisioning is one where tokens are really going to help people connect around shared values. And brands are going to get insights, consumers are going to get insights that just aren't possible right now without totally violating someone's privacy and consent. The Carhartt example was great, because in this case, a brand like Carhartt, they think they know their audience. They spend millions, tens of millions of dollars to get to know these people, to understand their purchasing habits, to track them, to see where they live.
Right.
And they're doing it.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly the point. How much money is spent on customer acquisition in the business world?
As you said, I think it might be squillions. It might be quintsquillions, dude.
Yeah,
it's a ton of money, and it's so precise, but it's imprecise. Right now, if I'm Facebook and I want to target you, or if I'm Carhartt and I'm targeting you on Facebook, I'm going to spend $100,000 to send my advertisement to the people I think are in my audience, based on they live in Illinois on a farm, are 50-year-old men, and happen to be white. Whatever demographics, which is helpful, but it's like throwing a dart at a dartboard. In the future of wallets and tokens, where everybody's purchases are cataloged that way, you got the number? What's the number, Squidward?
Yeah.
Squidward.
Guess.
Give me the category, total industry spend on.
So this is the 2021 global digital marketing expenditure, which is the first major step in customer acquisition.
I'm going to bet it's way more than $100 billion. Maybe not way more, but Are we talking trillions?
No, not quite.
$500 billion.
It's literally $522.5 billion.
Boom!
But
Oh my God.
by
Too good at work.
2026, it is projected to grow to 840 billion.
Wow. And that's
Dude, that's
just
just
digital
marketing.
advertising at like top of funnel. That's probably not taking into
That's
account other efforts.
no, exactly. This is literally digital marketing.
Tip the
Just digital
expert.
marketing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Give me a low cap gem. Here's a low cap gem. You are a low cap gem. If this was a chart and it was you token, would you buy your own dip? That's my wisdom for you, my friend. You token. Uh be the kind
Can
of
you
person who
invite
buys your own dip.
Totally
You know, I'm trying. And he said, let me go change my settings.
Okay.
Hang on. Oh, no. Hang on. Let me try it this way. Well, totally, I really don't know what's going on. Let me try this. Let me do it this way.
Because this is the major source of confusion, right? Like you don't need 1,000 followers to do like the co-hosted thing with us.
Yeah,
Because
and
we've done it before.
let me try this. I'm adding you as a moderator. I don't actually think that allows you to do anything special. You can't. We're friends. I'm trying to, and you know, Tori has come up. I don't know why it's not showing you in viewers that I can invite to go live. What usually happens, Toli, is when somebody is viewing my live, I can look at everybody who's viewing and invite any of these people. I can see that I can invite Web3 Jim, I can invite Crypto Tony, I can invite Tori, and so on and so on and so on. But I don't see your name there, and I'm just not
Let me
sure why.
see. Live. Is that the error? Live access is needed? Oh, actually, here. This is the first.
Well, and while you're saying that, let me just finish this thought too. He is a low cap Jim. Toli is a low cap Jim. He's our guest today. If you don't know Toli's work, you definitely need to get hip to it. He's got a lot of great thoughts around how to build solutions for NFTs communities to bring that future a little bit closer, so that a brand like Carhartt can easily create options for their community to experience tokens. For things like their purchases, for things like collectibles, for things like merchandise, so on and so forth, that will allow them to go online and look in their customers' wallets and see, oh, how strange. Our customers love Charmin toilet paper. Almost everybody who has a Carhartt token has a Charmin token. And then when the collab drops and their customers lose their minds, nobody sees it coming and everybody loves it. And it's so much more precise than anything they could have done by buying data through Facebook.
I have a funny anecdotal piece of evidence to suggest that this is valid. We
Meaning
were
that
at
Charmin and Carhartt actually could be future collaborators?
no, but just that would be a hit. Um, where the hell were we? We were at a parade very recently.
Just a casual parade?
Yeah, there was a purpose, and my dumbass can't remember what it is. Anyway, a bunch of floats, whole nine. Um, anyway, one of the candies being thrown, like classic parade behavior, but like one of the parade sponsors was just tossing rolls of paper towels out, and dude,
Okay.
people were feral for the paper towels.
Honestly, dude, I'd
Dude,
punch an
no,
old lady for some of
like
those.
it was like moms directing to like, "Hey, grab that shit," and then there's just like armloads of paper towels, like walking back and putting them in the cars, and like, "Hey, you need it? Is that yours? No, take it, run." People were like,
Digital gold, man.
people were feral. Okay, wait. So I looked up this thing. Evan, I think it's on your end that you need to somehow give permission to Toli or grant him access. He doesn't have to do anything. It says,
Let me tell you this. In my permission settings, this is what it says. I'm looking at it right now. Allow requests from viewers is checked on. Allow
okay,
requests from followers only is checked off. Those are my two options. That's it. Those are the options that TikTok gives me. And I'm not saying that it could be. I wonder if there's an error that because we were not friends before this live started, although again, because anybody should be able to request, that shouldn't be an issue. Let me ask you, Totally, have you refreshed this live? If not, go ahead and do it now. That seems like a dumb question. I feel like you probably have tried to unplug it and plug it back in again. Give it a chance. Come on back. I really do want to have this conversation with Totally. I know he has to go at the top of the hour, as I do. So it might just be a preview, and then we might try another day if he doesn't mind us taking up too much of his time. And I actually can stay just a little bit longer, but then I've got to go, work in the cornfield. Tony brought something up. Since we're talking about NFTs and we're talking about utility, what do you think about this, Alex? He was saying he's got a project, and it was unclear. Tony, let us know if this is your project or if you're just involved in the community, where it's a book. And when you buy an NFT, which is a piece of digital art that has a unique character, you get a copy of the book, it sounds like, and your character appears in the book. We've talked about this kind of thing. Pros, cons, how do you feel about the issue?
Like that specific idea?
That specific idea and other uses of personalized storytelling with an NFT. Is that the way to do it? Is there a different way to do it? Generally speaking, what are your thoughts on this? It's kind of like an IP storytelling question.
Yeah. So I guess I have two thoughts. Sorry, just watching this. Puppy's not doing great.
Oh no, really? Can we get a pup date real quick?
She's just a genetic mess, and it's the one of the things with Ehlers-Danlos is just like ligament and tendon weakness, so she's having a lot of trouble walking lately. Basic balance, all that stuff. But she just walked in here, so I was just watching to make sure she walked out. No, so I have two opinions.
Okay.
I personally enjoy the idea. Like, I think it's cool. If it was a story that I cared about, I would be into that. I'd be very interested. The caveat there is it has to be a story I'm interested in. I'm not interested in everything. Thanks, Neil. Neil gets it. What are you talking about? It's spooky. Look, it's all the greats. They're all there.
Hell.
They're all there.
Real quick context. You buy a 2-page spread and each project links to the next pages. I'm unclear if that means that the book is just like, here's 2 pages about one character and then you turn it and here's 2 more pages about another character and then you turn it and here's 2 more pages. Clarify it for us, Tony, but please continue, Alex.
On the other hand, we have unfortunately been seeing evidence that like this is a tough market to find fit in. One of the projects that I have advised for a long time is the hybrids. And this is sort of his idea. He's like decentralizing comic books. So you get to create the character as a holder. You customize, what your character looks like, and then you create with him a backstory. And then the comics are written by the whole group using their different characters, and then comics get printed and art done and all that sort of stuff, and then distributed to the people who are participating. And the people who are into it are really into it, because it's like it's a non-money thing. But unfortunately, I think that certainly at this stage, the general like Web3 community has a very, very, very hard time differentiating between a utilitarian token and an instrument of financial growth or something.
Yeah, we do.
Which I've recently been making a couple videos and tweets about and stuff. Just this idea that like, because of that, token burning is bullshit. And unfortunately, I think that this kind of is part of that. Until we can decouple ourselves from the idea that all tokens are meant to grow in value, anything that hurts the viability of their financial growth or value increase is looked at as a failure. And so constantly token projects do things to placate that problem or that sentiment amongst the community. And because we keep perpetuating that cycle, we never allow ourselves to get out of it, and we will not mature as an industry. I got in a conversation with Crypto Tom yesterday about how I said that I don't care for Ethereum's token burning. I think it's bullshit. I wish that Ethereum had never done that. I don't care about the argument that Ethereum can be deflationary. If Ethereum was an investment vehicle, then yeah, sure, that would make a lot of sense. But it's not. It's actually very specifically supposed to not be an investment vehicle, or we would have major securities problems. So why is everyone trying to get it treated like something that's only going to go up in value? If you burn the supply for any reason, you're removing it from circulation, making it more scarce, and supposed to make it more valuable. But if the point of your project is to get your token into as many people's hands as possible so that they can use it to build stuff on your network and send transactions and do stuff, you're going about it the wrong way by removing it from supply. You're making it harder to get and making it more expensive for your users to acquire and use. So you're shooting yourself in the foot just to placate the masses that want your shit to get more expensive, which means that you are an investment vehicle, which means that you should get ganked by the SEC. And I'm sorry, I don't believe that there is a way that you can weasel around that idea. Because if you truly wanted your token to be utilitarian, you would probably make a quadrillion of them and then make it relatively easy for people to get it so that they could use it for your thing. But that massive supply that inflated every time someone wanted to get more of it to use it would probably cause its value to drop. That's looked at as being exclusively a shit coin and garbage and not having a future and not going to make it, which is sad, because the only way we look at crypto or tokens of any kind is as vehicles of financial success.
I think that's just a subsequence of capital and money as being seen as the primary measure and determinant of value that we use to communicate about value. And so it's affected everything. I mean, cost of living is a colloquial phrase. And I also think we both believe that tokens will allow people to express in more nuanced, robust ways forms of value. And for me, what you talk about with storytelling in terms of IP, tokenizing something, I think the approach is exactly what we got to do with the game. Number one, it's going to be really hard to get people to care about your IP by leading with, buy this token, get a character that you don't like, know about, or care about, featured in a story that you've never read or experienced before. If Marvel tomorrow released an NFT collection for The Flash, for Spider-Man, whatever, it would sell out. Especially if the utility was your Spider-Man, you're one of 10,000. Let's say they do it that way. Will be featured in the next movie for a minute or whatever. You will get a say in how the movie unfolds. That will work because people love that intellectual property. It's going to be important for brands to first tell a great story. I think I was confused about this when we first started, in the sense that I knew what we needed to do with the Faceless Many, which I think is a great story, was build a container that people would be inspired by, that they would care about, that they would start to see ways to participate in. I don't think that is going to reach its true potential unless people care about the story of the Faceless Many. They have ways to experience that story: games, novels, graphic novels, movies, TV shows, so that they will love the story, which is great. And then people will care about ways to own their part of it. I think IP has to come first. This is why we love Pudgy Penguins. I think they did such a great job because they told a story that people could latch onto. Now, if they want to sell more tokens, that will allow your Pudgy Penguin to be featured in a line of toys or a comic or a movie or a TV show, it's going to take off because they built the demand by telling the story first.
Yes, I think that's correct. So, like, Tony, just to summarize, because I see you saying stuff.
Yeah.
I love the idea personally. Like, me as Alex, I think it's awesome. I think that's a niche inside of the space that like needs more stuff. and it needs to be explored, and it should grow. Like, it deserves to grow. My only hesitation is just because of the immaturity of the space as a whole. I worry about the order of operations being leading with the token instead of writing stories and
Agreed.
publishing stories, and honestly pursuing like a Web 2 model of distribution for the content and the material first, or offering a free token acquisition for anyone who is interested now to like get and claim, you know, their spot sort of thing. And then allowing it to grow and become popular and get love and all that sort of stuff, and then introducing a token opportunity later, which is the model that we're going for with our game, because I know that any gamer has no reason to look at me and the game that I'm going to present to them and tell me that they believe it's going to be a success. I certainly have supporters. We certainly have people who believe that we are going to succeed with it. But we are largely untested and unproven as game developers, right? Like, the game that we have is a Discord bot. Granted, it's cool, people enjoy it, whatever. But I'm not Activision telling you I'm going to make a great game, and you can be like, yeah, you've got a lot of games. That makes sense. Your game's probably going to be good. If Activision came out with tokens, that would make more sense because they have proven themselves already, and they have proof of concept.
Mm-hmm.
But if Activision was a brand new startup that just formed and had never released anything, and they were like, we're going to do a token thing right now, and then we're going to make a game, I would tell them that I think you're going about it backwards, and you should make that really cool game and let everyone enjoy it and love it, and then reward them with some sort of token option later.
Yeah.
Look at if you want proof that I'm not just talking out of my ass and making that up. Look at how many Web3 games have failed because they did that model, and then look at Big Time, the only one crushing it right now, and they waited 2 years to release a token after launching and growing their community and all that sort of stuff. Like, it is an anecdote. It is one single thing, but right now they are annihilating the competition in the Web3 gaming space, and they did not start with there was no Big Time token talk 2 years ago when they first emailed me about doing a video to talk about their game that's coming up. It was 100% focused on gameplay and the story.
And Alex, is it a when you say token, is it a fungible liquid token?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Just curious.
Yeah. There are NFTs associated with it as well, depending on items and all that sort of stuff. But, like, you know, the concept of the game, the crafting mechanic, the combat, the play, all that sort of stuff was established beforehand. And I honestly think that you could still make a case that they jumped the gun. I think they should have waited, you know, a little bit longer. I think they should have allowed early release to conclude and go to like full public launch, and then get 100,000 players and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Tony, I obviously don't know like your whole detail, and I'm just giving you my opinion here. If you've done enough, then, you know, go forth and prosper. I think it's a badass idea. That's really absolutely the crux of what I'm saying here.
Especially if the communities love your stories. Like, if it's just, we're a bunch of 10,000 profile character NFT projects, and we're going to create value by collaborating together and exposing audiences to each other as a means to kickstart, I think that's tough. It's hard to tell a great story about many different characters from many different universes without having strong identities for each of those characters and strong communities that care about their stories, so that when Iron Man meets the Hulk, and when Captain America joins them to fight a villain they've all struggled with, it matters. If we're trying to learn who Captain America is and learn who the Hulk is and who Iron Man is at the same time, and there's no clear sense of identity for each of them, if these communities aren't strong communities, if the intellectual property isn't already robust with a following that identifies with it, then they're not going to understand how those pieces fit together. They're going to have loose loyalty, and the value proposition is going to fall flat on its face. I think it's more likely. It doesn't mean it can't work, but I think it's going to be tough. I mean,
I think.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I just gave a quick example. Pokemon, Digimon. There were many pocket monster collectible stories that kind of came prominent around the same time in the 1990s. and you maybe loved Pokemon, you maybe loved Digimon, or if you came a little later, you were maybe really into Yu-Gi-Oh! And you had these universes that were all similar, but were all well developed with their own storylines, their own characters, their own touch points. If somebody had done a Pokemon Digimon crossover, it would have blown up. It would have been nuts because the communities had a lot in common. They were similar. And they, you know, they just chose not to do it for some reason. But that's the kind of thing that tokens will allow us to see very clearly. These people are like these people. We have a product, they have a product. These communities will probably really enjoy it if we share our products and tell a story together. Bullish on collaborations like that. And I'm sorry, Alex, let me just say one more thing because I know Toli is still here. Toli, brother, I'm so sorry for these technical difficulties. Let's troubleshoot it. And if your time is good, let me know. Send me a message and come back on the show again next week because we'd love to have you, or you know, the week after or something like that. Let's get it figured out first, though. I just wanted to say I appreciate you for sticking with us and hanging out, and I'm sorry it didn't work out. So,
Yeah,
what's your thought, Alex? Let me hit you.
No, it's annoying. So they're like, I'm on TikTok's website and it's very clear. Like I see the word for word error that he's describing, and it literally just says that you, Evan, just need to enable access, which you did, and it didn't solve it. So, Evan, the only thing I can think of is maybe we should have turned it off and turned it back on again.
Well,
And then,
that's what I'm thinking. Is it probably is an us side issue, and I bet if we reset it, it'll work.
but like, what a garbage like issue. You know, because like then what's the idea? Like someone wants to come up and do your thing, so you'd have to like restart your live every single time you wanted to bring on a new guest that you'd never had
Right.
before. Like that can't be the norm.
How is my NFT project supposed to collaborate with 10,000 stone zebras if they can't get on my live? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's all right. We will get totally up here at some point. I'm not sure why it's
That's
annoying
right,
when
but
the
before
solution
he
is like,
comes up,
it's
let's
this
at least
easy.
plug what he's doing. If you're interested in getting
Yes.
connected with a great Web3 community, an awesome founder who talks helpfully about the space, go follow Toli Bear. He's in the chat right now and is more active as Toli Bear, same profile picture, on Twitter. He is the founder of Bad Bears Labs,
With
Bad Bears NFT community. What's that?
with an underscore after his username on Twitter, though.
Thank you. Totally. And also here, Totally Bear underscore. Same username, copy it and paste it. He has the Bear bot for your Discord community, which will make it a lot more fun to talk about and share value around NFTs with your friends, and is hosting a fabulous weekly space on Wednesdays in the afternoon US time called Shill and Grill, where he has projects come in and then invites them to shill to a panel of advisors, founders that give feedback, ask questions. They had a great episode with Luca of the Pudgy Penguins. They have another one with what is the I'm sorry, totally, I already lost it. The project that's coming on this week, and I'm working on an application so that we can bring Faceless Labs on. I love to listen. Alex and I may pop up there from time to time and ask a question or share some commentary. But it's just a great place to learn from a conversation that is a little more focused around, I'll say, good questions, accountability, that kind of stuff that we need more of in the Web3 space. So go follow Toli and go follow his brother Serge too. Real great friend of ours, trusted educator. If you don't know Serge.ai, where you been, man? Where you been? Alex, did you see this alpha drop from Neil? I want to hit this real quick with a 15-second story for you and get your take on it if you're good.
Let's do it.
Neil dropped, our trusted friend and community member, Neil of the AI world, because there's only one, told us about Revel. He says Revel plus Instagram or Revel plus NFTs, Instagram something. It's a new competitor for Instagram, and here is the soundbite. This is from TechCrunch. Revel raises $7.8 million, not a huge amount of capital, but enough to do some damage, to become the Instagram and Robinhood of NFT platforms. an NFT or social collectibles platform, financing led by Dragonfly Capital, who's invested in Polygon, who's invested in Lido, other projects you've heard of. As a cross between Instagram and Robinhood wrapped in social game economics, we will help consumers build a portfolio of media and of the people they collect. This coming just a month after Instagram announced creators on its platform will be able to create their own NFTs and sell them directly to fans both on and off the visual network, which has been something they've speculated about and even beta tested as recently as a year ago. Followers will be able to mint their media as NFTs, and the social game economics will make it so that what they call proof of demand minting is implemented, whereby anybody can mint their first NFTs, but only people who get collected can mint more. Proof of demand. I don't know how I feel about that. But it looks like they're targeting Web3 savvy folks and young people, attracting content creators to help them promote their platform. Other investors include Union Square, Sphermion, Six Man Ventures, Gangles, Wagme Ventures, Alumni Ventures, Global Impact, Hans Lab, and Polygon, among others. Capital will be used to expand interoperability, generative and collaborative AI functionality, and social features. Now, the question is, how do we get access? What do you think, Alex? Hit or flop?
It's so hard to say, man.
I agree. I think it's all about the execution. Neil says it's an app to download, applied to download, maybe.
So I don't know that I have like a specific opinion on just that one because I don't know enough. But in general, I am in support of experimentation. It's why I was not angry about Stars Arena. I was not angry about Friend Tech. I'm not angry about and I'm generally a person who is known to get angry about stuff from time to time.
Yeah.
Get
your gears around.
Right? And we're at that stage of the industry where we need to try stuff and it needs to fail and some stuff needs to succeed. Art, say nothing. And but no, I just cool. I'm down. I'll happily like check it out. I'll poke around with it. This is the only way that the space is actually going to mature. People are going to throw something at the wall and we're going to see what happens. And maybe it's going to fail and maybe it's going to succeed. And either way, we will have learned something. And then that's how it works, right? Like people like to say that we're early. It's like the .com bubble where everything was being put on the internet and all that sort of stuff. That wasn't over in a year. It took a long time, and to this day there is garbage still out there, right? Like being experimented with. Like we're early. Let me write this down because I should film this. The we're early thing is not like a thing where all of a sudden we're gonna flip a switch and we were no longer going to be early. It's going to be time. It's like it's a gradual peter out of like less and less dumb shit and more better shit. And then all of a sudden people will be, like this is the prime time and like it's harder and harder for garbage to slip by unnoticed. And like think about like general Web 2 business, right? Like if you watch Shark Tank, I watch a tremendous amount of Shark Tank.
Really?
Oh my God, dude. I've watched almost every pitch that has ever happened on Shark Tank.
I had no idea you were such a maxi.
It's because I have learned everything that I know about, like, not everything, but a lot about just like presenting your idea or like what's a good and effective pitch. I don't even like, what the Sharks have to say about it is insightful, some of them, but I know like a lot of it's, church stuff for TV or whatever, but I love hearing the presentation from the business owner and then pausing it and stopping it and making like my own assessment of like how did that
I actually feel like we would have a lot of fun watching that show together. Like we could just sit with a consumable substance and go back and forth and just fast forward past all their commentary.
Oh Oh no, absolutely. I love doing that. I've seen some incredible pitches, and I've seen some one where, but that's my point, right? Like you can watch that and see a business, and you can be like, dude, that's awesome, or you can be like, dude, how is this guy like even allowed on the show? Obviously, it's just for TV, but like it would never in a million years would be like, oh yeah, that's got legs. Like we'll get to that point. Idiots are still gonna be pitching garbage. It's not like we're gonna stop that. So I mean, I would never. It's never too early or too late to pitch an idea. So I run with it. I'll check it out though.
Well, and here, check out this. So the URL is revel, REV, as in Volkswagen, EL.xyz. And before this funding round, a lot of their verbiage.
Give me that again. Give me that again, please.
REV as in Volkswagen, EL.xyz. This was their pitch on DAP Radar before funding, and I mean, it's still here now. Create and collect cards to battle and earn. Play the cards like Pokemon. Buy and sell and cash out for real money. Create digital collectibles in a snap. Upload 3 photos or videos to create a pack. One will be unique, one will be rare, and one will be common. Your choices determine the scarcity of each card. You can stake, yield, trade. Connect your wallet to choose cards to claim as NFTs. Earn by making smart trades, and when others trade the cards you've collected. You earn something called revs. Like it. And apparently you can withdraw revs to USD once reaching the cash out minimum balance of 2,500. So interesting mechanics. I'm interested to see. It sounds like they were doing one thing that was very game oriented, and now they're moving on to more of like a social game, a community thing. So I'm interested to see how that develops. They are revel.xyz, and Neil says anyone can access. Looks like there's not a ton of activity on the platform right now. But, go check it out. Sounds like it's free and fun to play. And could be, it's certainly an interesting take on how Web3 social will form. Alex, what did you say at the start of the show that I wanted to clip and put on a t-shirt? You were like, another create an ape. You said something. I'm going to have to go back and look at it. But I was like, oh, that's my new 10,000 NFT PFP derivative is the next ape something club. It was perfect.
I genuinely don't remember.
Let me say bye to Jim. Let me say hi to Dave. And as we prepare to head off into the day, Alex, I want to know, do you have any kind of final takes, good jokes, words of wisdom, anything we need to talk about that we didn't touch on yet? I got just a couple more minutes, and then I gotta go.
I mean, I think I'm pretty well met.
I think so too. My moral today is add the value first for your story. Tell a great story. Build a great game. Build a cool app. And then give people ways to own their part of the story. And if you own a derivative NFT, you better go check out this verdict in the Ryder Rips case and maybe offload your derivative JPEGs before it's too late. That's what I got. Are you guys going trick-or-treating tonight?
I'm sure that we are.
Is there a costume? Or 2 or 3?
For me? No.
No, not for you. I mean, listen, you look great and everything, but I don't know. Is the young blood into costumes? I feel like he's probably a Halloween guy.
Yeah, we've gone through several ideas so far. I think first he was going to be one of Anonymous, which I was like, okay, cool. That sounds like a cheap costume. I'm down. And then after that, for like 10 minutes of his life, he was like, I'm going to be Grimace. And I was like, no, you just heard somebody at football say that. We're not doing that. And instead, then he's decided he's going to be a football player, at which we were like, okay, what are you going to wear? And he's like, my uniform. And I was like, oh, perfect. We already own it. Dope. Signed, sealed, delivered, full send. So
Not even like a bloody football player or like a zombie football player, just like a football player? Like he's going to wear his practice uniform to trick or treat?
I mean, he's going to wear the game day uniform, but yeah.
I gotcha. Tori says she's got an angel and a werewolf. Obviously I'm doing a scarecrow. Kimberly and I are about to go volunteer There's a Halloween party that we're going to go help host for some kids. And then I'm going to go try and win some more costume contests later tonight. I am not doing too hot this season. I got third in a contest the other night as Buddy the Elf, and I failed to place. I got fourth place in the last one I entered, so wish me luck. Hopefully I'm going to make it.
I would like to officially and formally request that next year I feel very strongly about you being a knockout Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah. I didn't do it this year because I didn't have time to get prescription
It's an intense costume.
And the eyes are such a part of it. And if I just got like faker colored contacts, I would be so blind. I would certainly hurt myself or somebody else at night. So next year, Edward Scissorhands, absolutely. And next time you see us is going to be Thursday. If you want more from the Faceless Many, the always free, never going to try and sell you anything or be an unsafe place for you, Discord community to learn more about crypto, join us at discord.gg/themany or catch us back here Thursday, same time, same place, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12 p.m. UTC for more of the Rise Up Morning Show. Hopefully we'll have Tolly soon, and hopefully we'll have another surprise for you too if it makes its way to Alex's house soon. So if you want to find out, catch us back there then. My friends, as always, be safe, happy Halloween, and until next time, everybody, rise up.